What up guys, how's it going? Welcome again to Top Notch English with Mr. Pottes. In this episode, we're going to focus on 7 tips that I have used in my experience learning the language. Okay, so let's go to it. Number 1, before you start doing anything, you need to have a trigger for doing it. You need to have a need to do it. That is called motivation. Motivation is the need to do something because you really need it, you really want to do it, and not because it's an obligation. All right. Most people just do things because they have to, because it's a project for school or for the university. But just few of them do things because they like them, and when they do, the things have a better outcome. All right. So first step is find a motivation. It depends on your preferences. If you wanna travel around the world, okay, set that as your motivation. Just put it like this: you need to communicate. If you wanna go to Russia, and in the next month you wanna go to Turkey, and the next month you wanna go to China, of course you won't be able to learn those 3 languages in a matter of months. So it's almost impossible. But everywhere in the world there are people who speak English. So if you like traveling, set that as your motivation to learn English. All right. If you want to start a business, an international business, all right, you know that the international language used is English. It is the official language for business. So set that as a motivation if you want to do business around the world. If you're applying for an internship in a foreign country, let's say you're in the 9th or 10th semester at the university, it would be better if you learn English to do so. So set that as your motivation to do it. If you want to improve your work, set that as your motivation to learn English. Alright? If you like culture and the fact that you can learn culture by interacting with people, alright? So there are very interesting cultures out there in countries where they speak English. So set that as your motivation as well, and so on. Like, try to link your preferences, your likes, your hobbies, try to link them and make them your motivation. Psychologically, there is evidence that when you set a picture of something that you like, it could be in your room or in your office. For example, I want a car. I want a BMW car, let's say. So I print out a picture of that and I set it in my office, I set it in my bedroom, and every time I see it, unconsciously I'm triggering something in my mind, in my brain, to work to get that. Alright? So, and let's say an extra tip within this first one is to get a picture of what you want to achieve, and that is related to your motivation, and unconsciously you're gonna be driven towards that goal. All right. Tip number 2. Are in your house, in your environment, you have a lot of things that can be used as an income for vocabulary. All right. So you may stick pieces of paper on the things you have around your house. For example, in my case I have a printer, so I may stick this name tag on the printer. Alright? In my house I also have books. Well, as a matter of fact, I have a lot of books, so I may stick this name tag on the books that I have. Alright? In my house I also have television, so I may stick this on the television. I also have a fridge. I also have a speaker, and so on. So second tip will be to stick name tags on everything you have around your house, and visually you will have that aid when you're starting to learn English. Right? Every time you are walking around your house, you will see, oh, I remember this is called speaker. Alright? And oh, this is called a stove or a pot or whatever. Alright? So this is an example of how you do it. Television, bookshelf. This is a nice speaker, so you put the name tag. Make sure that the name tags are in a very readable size, let's say, like these ones. Okay, this is describing rubber. This is a nice printer, HP printer, so use the name tag. And here are the helmets, so I stick the helmet name tag. Here is the fridge, so I stick my name tag there. And here is my sister, so I stick the name tag there. As you can see. You can see now all the things in my house have a name tag on them. Well, not all, but this is just an example. So these are really readable name tags, as you can see over here. Good strategy to trigger vocabulary. Number 3 is related to music. Okay, music is full with rich vocabulary. Okay, and there are tons of different kinds of music, genres, and etc. So, regardless of your preference on music, you can use the music that you like to learn English. My suggestion is print out the lyrics of the songs that you like and start practicing while you're reading, okay? That way you will be receiving input on listening and input on reading, okay? So you will be improving while you are doing something that you like, which is singing or listening to music, alright? And that will also help you. Movies and series. Learning a language is easier when you are surrounded by the environment in which the language is spoken. That's why a lot of people say that it is better to travel to the United States or Canada or England if you want to learn a language. But it is because when you do it, you are surrounded 100% of the time by the language. So if you're walking out the street and you are going to take a taxi, you just stop it and you have to use the language. You're walking, you're doing window shopping or whatever, the television is set on the TV news and they're speaking in English. If you are going to McDonald's, you have to speak English. People are speaking English all the time, etc. So that's why it makes the learning process easier, but you can also do it in your house. We live in a country where we don't speak English, we speak Spanish here, but we can create the setting. In the previous tip, I mentioned the name tags. That's a strategy to start creating that environment. But music is also another strategy. And movies in series help you because they are real, or let's say real life-like situations, alright? They are emulated situations, similar to real life, and people speak at the pace and at the natural speed native speakers do. So it will help you get familiar with the speed of the language and the pronunciation of things. It will unconsciously and indirectly help you with the pronunciation you have. You will start catching expressions and different types of accents and so on, alright? So that tip is very important as well. The devices you use every day. Okay, as you know, the most popular one is the cell phone. So let's start with the cell phone. You can go to settings and set the language on your cell phone to English, alright? You can also go to your email address, your email account, let's say, and you go to settings and you also set the language of your email in English. You can go to your Facebook account, your Instagram account, and set the language to English, alright? That way you will be practicing English while doing what you normally do every day, alright? If you have a smart TV, set it in English, okay? You will be acquiring Also technical language when you said everything in English. Alright? Reading. Okay? The two different inputs that there are listening and reading. So my suggestion, if you don't have the habit of reading, is to start reading short texts and relate it to your preference and like things that you like. If you like literature, if you like novels, if you like reading about sports, if you like news, all of those things, do them, but in English, alright? Also reading comics. Comics are very interesting because they use real language, but short language. So comics would be my recommendation to start in the news. When learning in a formal setting, such as a school or university, try to integrate what you're learning with a real life-like situation. Putting all that grammar and all that vocabulary that you're learning in your English class into a real life context. It will allow you to use that new knowledge for a purpose. And when there is a real life situation, but in this case, recreated situation, it will be more meaningful for your learning process. So try to do that and you tell me how it goes. It is related to an activity that we do every day and we tend to do it unconsciously, and is talking to yourself. Okay? So we literally talk to ourselves in our minds when we are doing different activities during the day. So when you're cooking, you're saying, okay, now I need the salt, and pour some salt, some oil, and I need to take the meat out of the refrigerator and stuff like that. Okay? So you're talking to yourself. So let's start doing that activity, but in English. Okay? It will help you realize the lack of vocabulary you may have in certain contexts. Probably you may realize you don't know the pronunciation of a word in English and stuff like that. So you start being aware of the words that you need to improve and words you need to learn, okay, while doing those activities. So some of those activities could be eating, having breakfast, having lunch, dinner, having a snack. When you're doing it, try to describe what you are eating, and etc. Driving to school, whether it is a car or riding your motorbike, driving to work, etc. Brushing your teeth, alright? Walking around, around the block, around your neighborhood, exercising, etc. So try to do those activities. Turn everything you do in your life, in your language, try to do it in English. And that way you will also improve. So those are my tips on how to improve and how to learn English and get started with the language. Alright? This is Andres Potes and this is Top Notch English with Mr. Potes. I'll see you around.